Well, it's time now for a look at the day's top business news. And for that, I'm joined here in the studio by France 24's business editor, Brian Quinn. Brian, you're starting with Western sanctions on Russia's richest business leaders, known, of course, as the oligarchs.
Yes, Aaron, a number of prominent business publications, in fact, are asking, could this be the end of the oligarch era? Now, these oligarchs, of course, are the immensely wealthy, mostly men who run Russia's largest firms. Most of them rose to their positions via connections that allowed them to buy huge portions of formerly state-owned enterprises as Russia privatized its industries following the collapse of the Soviet Union. Their current wealth now depends on their fealty to Vladimir Putin, who has proven himself more than willing to imprison those who cross him. Now, on Thursday, the U.S. imposed what is called full blocking sanctions on 8 such oligarchs, cutting them off from the U.S. financial system and freezing their U.S. assets. 19 more were hit with visa restrictions. The White House says it's also launching a Justice Department task force called Klepto Capture, aimed at identifying and seizing their hidden assets. France and Germany have already seized mega yachts belonging to oligarchs. Washington says it's going to work with allies to crack down on more of their wealth.
Working together with our justice ministers, we want to ensure that we're able to share information around the globe about what we know about Russian oligarchs and elites' assets in their countries, so that we can be in a position to freeze those assets immediately and then work with our justice ministers to seize them as well.
Now, the UK, for its part, has been criticized for being slow to sanction Putin's inner circle. The British capital has long been nicknamed Londongrad for the vast amounts of corrupt Russian wealth that is both filtered through its financial system and held there, often in the form of luxury real estate. The EU, which currently has 510 Russian individuals on its sanctions list, has urged the UK to move faster before Russian assets in Britain can be liquidated and moved to safer jurisdictions. On Wednesday, the UK added 2 more oligarchs to its sanctions list, freezing their assets and banning travel. Billionaire businessman Alisher Usmanov and former Russian Deputy Prime Minister Igor Shuvalov now face a freeze on some $80 million worth of assets there. The UK law makes it difficult for the government to quickly impose sanctions. Foreign Minister Liz Truss says they're determined to press ahead.
We are absolutely determined to sanction Russian oligarchs. We've already sanctioned over 100 individuals and organisations. We've got a further list we are working through. We have put in place the toughest package of sanctions in British history on Russia, including bank freezes, including freezes on the central bank, including export controls, and we will do more.
Turning to the markets next, crude oil futures briefly hit their highest level since 2008 as traders shun Russian crude over the Ukraine crisis. A U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate briefly topped $116 per barrel. Now, those prices have since subsided a bit as hopes grow for a potential revival of the Iran nuclear deal, which could bring some extra supply back to the market. WTI still at just over $109 per barrel. European benchmark Brent crude at $111.50. Now, those sky-high oil prices and fears over intense fighting around Europe's largest nuclear plant sent Asian indexes deep into the red in Friday trade. The Nikkei in Tokyo down around 2.25%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng down over 2.7%. Finally, for business, in addition to oil and gas, Russia is a major global provider of natural resources, including titanium, aluminum, palladium, and nickel. France 24 spoke with Chris Beecham, chief market analyst at IG Group, about what the current crisis could mean for already strained supply chains around the world.
Of exports from Russia, that puts pressure on businesses across the globe, and again feeds into the debate about inflation. So we should expect to see those prices rise, even as companies look to find alternative sources. Of course, that takes time. You've got to transport them. Everything seems to threaten the more significant hit to global supply chains, and that was also a big theme of last year, and how the global economy was having to cope with those becoming strained, and now they're being strained towards breaking point and probably beyond that as well.
And you can see more from Chris Beecham about the impact of the crisis on commodities markets in this week's People and Profit. That's our weekly business update on the France 24 website. And now that's it for business. Back to you, Aaron.
Brian Quinn, thank you very much.